We back once again. I felt like doing another video. This one, we're going to make it a prediction using unusual whales and sort of how I like to look at the market using SPY flow and levels. And we're going to show you sort of the process here on how to think about these levels. And if somebody out there is like some sort of super genius or guru with this and I'm doing this wrong, just let me know. But this is how I interpret the information. And hopefully this helps you develop your own ability to also interpret the information. So we're going to go to the flow on unusual whales. You guys can see I've got some tutorials and stuff up here on how to make my YouTube channel better. So that's what all that's about. But we're going to go to SPY because I suck at YouTube. But go to SPY. We're going to clear this filter. I don't know why that does that. Pull up SPY. What you want to do is find the levels, SPY levels. Just this one right here in the middle. And then we're going to look at the different levels. So what I like to do is I like to start with these little guys here, the 1000s, and just kind of see what the premium looks like. Okay, so we got about 70% bearish. All right, so small players. Think of people that are buying between 1,000, basically 1,000 and $5,000 worth of premiums. Not exactly small. I mean, that's a pretty big. Premium for most of us. Like if you're watching my channel, I doubt most of you are putting over $1,000 into SPY calls or puts. So I mean, they're still going to be bigger than most retail trades. But in the grand scheme of things, of the premiums that are traded on SPY, it is not. You're basically a nothing. You don't even register on the blip. But what it is a sentiment check for me. Because you know, if the small guys are bearish, you know, what does that usually they're usually wrong, and so if they're wrong, then I'm already leaning bullish. So like when I first look at this, it's just this weird mind game. I'm already bullish just because these little guys are so bearish. 70% pretty bearish, and then you look at the levels too. So I really only like to focus on the biggest premium amounts because it's really not that much. Their biggest premium is their bearish 468. Okay, so I know a lot of people came to the market today. They probably collected a lot of premium on this 468 as far as appreciation and stuff. But then they're essentially bullish this 463. I know it's hard to see that. That's 463 there. So I got my levels for the 1000. So what I'll do is I'll write this down on a sheet of paper, but I'll do it something like this just to kind of get so SPY 1Kers is 463 bull and then 468 bear, and then it's 70-30 essentially bearish. It doesn't make sense, but I'll just this is how I write it down. 70-30 bearish. Let's do that. Okay, so these are my levels for SPY for the 1Kers. Then we'll do the 5Kers. And this is kind of how the you know, the really good unusual whale guys. This is how they've been teaching people, and this is kind of what they taught me as well. This is kind of where I get this idea of kind of just keeping track of the smaller and bigger premiums. So and then also we want to look at the times too, because let's say you got a lot of bears here, the 172,000 of the premium. Well, a lot of the premium here isn't for the short dated stuff. I mean, here's big bearish bets here for Wednesday, but then they're bullish for Friday. So this is something you want to notate that they're bearish for Wednesday and then next week and then for March. So all the premium here in these two strikes are spread out over these time periods. So one thing to note that I'll show you that is they're bullish here. On Friday, so that's something to keep a note on. So what I'll do is I'll say, you know, for they're bearish 12:15, bullish 12:17, bear 12:20, and bear 3:18. So these are the strikes. So this kind of gives you like a window of where the premiums are going to go. where the premiums are and what people are, in the 1,000 level, are they bullish or bearish, and then the time frame as well. So we know that these guys don't care about these middle time frames. All right, so the same thing. We're going to apply the same idea to the 5K level. Well, you got 60-40 essentially bearish. So not as bearish, 70-30, 60-40. So that's good. And I kind of just ignore this stuff, mainly because in my mind, I don't really know how to use it that well, because sometimes it doesn't make sense where all this will be green and then this will be red. So kind of like right here where you see this is 60-40, but a lot of this is green. So I discount a lot of that because it doesn't always jive and it doesn't make sense. And it might make sense to some of you out there. You'd be able to explain it better. But if you do, make sure to let me know, because I'm just really here to learn or teach what I know. All right, so then we do the same thing, 463 again. So we're seeing a common pattern here, 463, bull. So what this is going to tell me, just like from right now, is that this 463 is going to be a support on the SPY. And that's going to coincide with like a 4630 on the futures, 4630-ish or 4640 on SPX. So the SPY premiums are going to kind of give me an indication on where the super support level is at least for now, at least for tomorrow, because this whole picture can change tomorrow. But as of right now. And then we see the biggest premium sitting up here at 467, 468. So the 5Kers, 5K to 15K, they're putting all their premium in these two levels. That coincides here as well. So 463, 468. That's kind of our bracket. All right. So then you can come over here to a chart. Say we just pull up a basic chart. And we're just going to go to like a 15-minute chart here for tomorrow on SPY. Okay, and then we're just going to mark off, our resistance here, 468, and our support is 463. So right now we've got a nice little bracket here, just to kind of give us an idea of, where the market's going to trade within, or if we get a breakout either way. So I'm just kind of keeping that in mind. Then I'm looking at the time frame as well. So a lot of bullish premium coming up here on Friday. But the bullish premium is all in the 463s. Okay, so that tells me that in general, it's not bullish to the upside so much. And we do see some premium here in 470s, 91,000 to 332,000. So it's a huge difference here where I would discount this just based on the ratio. So I would be bullish on the market, but in the sense that it's not going below 463, not that it's going higher. Okay, so they're bearish, but they're bullish here on the premium here. So that kind of makes sense where it's sort of like a market where it's just going to kind of slowly grind down to 463 and just kind of pin 463. That's what these two levels are telling me. So 15,000. So now we're getting into kind of the bigger whales. They're bearish too. Kind of a similar ratio. So we got 70-40, we got 60-40, 70-30, 60-40. And then you got 65-35. So essentially all the same ratio. But then again, see the same strike. So all the premium, and these might all be the same type of traders too. They're just making different bet sizes. Who knows? But all the whales are essentially saying 463. They're all bullish 463. So again, we're just going to assume since they're all bullish 463 that it's going to be a support. But what's going to happen is the market is going to naturally kind of start magnetizing itself. It's going to gravitate towards that level. That's typically what happens. Again, this whole picture changes every day, but if you look at it every single day and it looks the same, it looks similar, because this looks similar than Friday's picture as well. So this is why I wanted to kind of do this, because my whole premise coming into the week was based off of a similar type of picture that was given to us on Friday with this setup. So okay, so 463, and then premiums again bullish for 1217, but again bullish for 463, meaning we're not going below 463. So if you see a 463 print on SPY, I would be inclined to buy calls there, but less inclined to buy calls, more inclined to sell put spreads against it, because yeah, it might bounce, but it might not bounce in favor of calls. It might more bounce in the fact that it's just going to be a grindy type of move. And then you got bear premiums here, 468 again. Okay, But most of the bear premiums are kind of far out. So end of the year into January, and the biggest spike here as far as premiums go is sitting out here in February. So not really interested in the premiums that are far out. I really only care about the next couple weeks or next couple expiries. 30,000s, again, a similar profile here. So each level has been bearish. It's not necessarily bad because it's FOMC week, so you would imagine that there would be a lot of bearish flow, given that there would be a lot more hedging than normal. There's also been a lot of volatility in the market, so puts are just being bought like crazy, and they're sort of expensive. So the premium is going to be naturally leaning bearish, and we've seen that on all these levels here. But these two pictures are a little bit different. On Friday, these were bullish, and so that's interesting because the day was bearish. And so, again, you're seeing a situation where this flipped. So that's something to note. And I'm not keeping notes here just for the sake, basically go back to that first level. This is what I would do for each level. I would write this all out just to kind of have a picture. But we're just going to keep going through. So bearish all the way through. We see a lot of big spikes here, but most of the premium, again, is way far out. Don't care about that as much. As far as Friday goes, again, bullish. They're bullish, but almost $1 million in premium was put into these. So, the highest amount of premium for the 30K plusers, 466, 467. Okay. Very interesting. Again, 463 popping up here as far as a little bit of a node here, and then 458. So I don't imagine most of the premium kind of clustered here in this 463 to 468 range. So these whales, they kind of seem like they know what's going on. They're putting all the premium in this level. So this is going to be kind of my analysis that I do every day as far as SPY goes, just to kind of get an idea of time frame, get an idea of bullishness, get an idea of levels with the market. That way, at least that's in the back of my mind when I'm putting a trade on that. I know that this is where all the premiums were yesterday, and this was the time frame. These were the expiries they were targeting. And so hopefully this gives you an idea. I do this with every stock that I look at as far as what kind of trades I want to take. I'm looking at this type of picture because if I take a lotto or something like that, I want to see some bigger players in the strikes or targeting even higher strikes than I'm looking at. So hopefully this helps you out with some a little bit of an education. And if you like this kind of stuff, make sure to obviously do all this stuff: subscribe, comment, like, whatever. All right, peace.